Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Hamida and I love to talk about books, and if you're coming back, thank you for coming back to my channel. I must be doing something right. In this video, I'm going to be doing my end of the year book tag. I've seen many of the accounts that I'm subscribed to doing this end of the year book tag, so I thought, why did I jump on this wagon? Because I didn't do it last year. End of the year book tag is basically you answering some questions. I don't know where the questions came from, but I feel like all these accounts are answering the same questions, so I'm going to do some of the same questions. So not all the questions. Basically, you answer questions with the books you've read this year. I've taken out some of the questions because I haven't read books related to those questions, but I've tried to answer as many questions as I can. I mean, I read 30 books, so I should be able to answer the questions. I know I said I read like 30 books, but I've read a lot more books. Like, I read some books on my Kindle that I don't log in for reasons between me, myself and I. So when I looked at I was talking to my friend the other day and I was like, oh, I think I read 37 out of 30. I set my goals at 30, so I read 37. So I was like, I did really well. I might up my, reading goal to maybe 50 next year, because she was thinking of upping her goal to like 60 or 80 next year. So I was like, oh, actually, let me go look at how much books I've read on my Kindle, because I have Kindle Unlimited. So I looked at it and it says I've read 124 books. So I have actually read more than 100 books this year. I think on my Kindle it says I've read 127, and then on my Goodreads Storygraph that I've actually logged in, I've read 37 books. So if you add that together, I'm looking at 160 something books, 170 something books. So that's a lot, but I don't log those books in, okay? So I'm only going to be discussing the 37 books that I've logged in on my Storygraph. The first question is a book I wish I could erase from my memory and read again. The answer to that question is The Darkness Outside Us by Elliot Schaefer, and that's only because once you figure out the plot twists and you figure out the answers, I feel like you can't go back and read it and have that same emotion, because the plot twist that you find you get in the book is like, spoilers, this book is about two people who are on a mission, and they find out they can't get access to this part of their spaceship. I think there's somebody else who's been on the spaceship with them, and rah, rah, rah. Anyway, they later to find out that it's them. They are clones. Their real people are not even on the spaceship. They're back in their country, but they are clones, and there's many clones of them, only because they can't get to the planet they're going to because it's so far away, and a normal human will not last that journey. So they've got multiple clones of them, and it's these clones becoming aware that they're clones. When you find out all of that, I can't reread it. I can't reread it because it doesn't have the same effect or the same emotion as to when I first read it. The emotions I felt when I found that out, I was like, oh! I was gagged, because it was mind blown. It wasn't what I expected. I would never, going into this, I would never have thought that they were clones. I don't know what I thought they were. I thought maybe they were living in a time loop and like there's people trying to keep them in there or whatever. But when I found out that they were actual clones, and there's many of them, and the clones only last to a certain point and then the new clones will take over, yeah, I feel like I need to like erase my memory and read that book again, just so I can like feel that same reaction I did when I first read it. That's why. The second question is favourite new character. That would be Kidan Adane from Immortal Dark. This year I feel like she is my favourite character because of the level of unhingedness this girl has. Like, she will do anything to find her sister. When I say anything, like, I know that I keep saying this, but the enemies to lovers trope in this book is insane, and I feel like that's why I really like Kidan, because she didn't give oh, I hate him but I like him, but I hate him, but I like him, but I've got to hate him because I've got to save my sister or my family or the rest of it. But she actually genuinely hates him. That's why I love her. She does not care, and she would do anything to make Senyos look bad, and I love that about her. That is why she's my new favourite character. The third question, the third question, most surprising book good or bad. The two books I'm thinking about, I don't have a physical copy. I listen to them on audiobook. The good one, I'll start with the bad. The bad one, Foxglove. Foxglove, which is the second book to Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I did not like that book whatsoever. It was such a letdown. I'm surprised because I was looking forward to it because I really enjoyed Belladonna after the second read. But Foxglove really just let me down because it let me down. I did not like any of the characters. And I felt like the characters were built up to be these amazing characters, but when you go in reading them, they were just yeah. So that's why I did not like Foxglove. Good book is You and Me on Vacation, also aka People with Me on Vacation by Emily Henry. I can't believe it. I'm still baffled. I enjoy this book. Like I always say on here, I'm not a romance reader, pure romance reader. I'm a fantasy girl with a tiny subplot of romance. So you can catch me reading romantasy sometimes, but I'm mainly fantasy. But I just can't believe that I enjoyed a book by Emily Henry. So yeah, I'll be reading more of her books next year. I don't know what number question we're on now, but next question, best and most disappointing new release for this year. I'm gonna start with the bad because I like to start with the bad and then we'll give the good. Okay, so bad. When I say bad, I don't mean like the book was atrocious. It was not atrocious. It was good, but my expectation for it was high and it just didn't meet that expectation. It was like expectation was here and it was like down here. Like that's a far gap. If it was like here, I'd still like but it was down here. So it was my most disappointing release for this year. And that book is Rani Chaudhary Must Die. I can't believe I'm saying this, by Adiba Jadida. I got an arc because I was very excited about this book and I love a lot of Adiba's books. And when I got this book, I was like, Sapphic, Rivals to Lovers. Like, you know, I was excited and it just let me down. It let me down. It wasn't really Rivals to Lovers, like, because I'm sorry, I can't remember her name, Megan. There was no rivalry. It was a one-sided beef. Like, just jealousy. There was no rivalry because, like, I feel like a rivalry, you should be able to see both sides competing against each other. But I felt like Rani didn't even know the beef was happening. I mean, she knew, but, like, she didn't. It wasn't rivals to lovers. I'm sorry, it was a mess. It was just one girl who was jealous over so much. Just jealous? It was a one-sided beef. Like, it was one-sided. I'm sorry. And, like, the romance, there was nothing there. Romance literally happened, like, what? 10 pages before the end, I'm gonna say. And like it came out of nowhere. There was nothing leading up to the romance between Rani and Megan, what it's called. Like there was just no build up. There was nothing. Like nothing. So it let me down. Moving on to the best release of this year. To me, Immortal Dark by Tigger Skerma. Like, I know I'm saying again, best enemies to lovers book I've ever read. Ever. This is how you, if you want to write enemies to lovers, go read this book. This is how you do enemies to lovers. If you disagree with me, argue with the wall, because I will not be listening. Best enemies to lovers trip. Like, what a debut. Like, I just can't wait for book 2. So, yeah. Next question. Longest and shortest book you read this year? The longest book I read this year was The Sword of Kaigen. I don't have the physical copy yet because I've got a special edition coming next year I'm very excited about. I will show you guys when it's arrived. But yeah, Sword of Kaigen was the longest book I read this year with 651 pages. And then the shortest book I read also isn't a physical book. It's a short story with 31 pages. And that is The Six Deaths of the Saint by Alexia Harrow, I want to say. And that's just 31 pages. It was like a short story. But yeah, and I think it's getting a full-length novel next year or in 2026. But yeah, those are the answers to that. That's very quick. The next question is the most emotional book. I don't really read sad books, which I feel like I need to change. I'm just scared to read sad books. I like books with happy ending. I mean, you can read a sad book with a happy ending, but I don't tend to read sad books. Maybe that will be one of my goals for next year, to read a sad book. A very, like, a gut-wrenching, heart-wrenching book that will make me sob. Maybe, yeah, I should put that on my list for next year. But anyway, most emotional book I read. When I say emotional, I don't know. A Tragedy of Felix and Jake. That's an MM romance, and it deals with addiction. It was very emotional. It started off okay, like you were a bit sad. Started off okay, and then I think you know what, when a book is going well and then you reach 70-something% of the book, you know something bad's gonna happen. That section where there's something bad happened really got me, because I cried my eyes out. I was sobbing, okay, when I think it was Jake that OD'd. Yeah, trigger warning. Read before you read the book. Check the trigger warnings before you read the book, because yeah, it was very sad and I cried. No one died though. It's a happy ending. And another book that made me cry was The Sword of Kaigen, when Mamoru died. Because I don't know why I didn't think the author was gonna kill him off, because he was 13. He was a 13-year-old boy, and he had so much dreams he wanted to, and I just can't believe ML1 killed Mamoru off. And the book in general was just like sad, but also it wasn't, I wouldn't say it was an emotional book, it was just sad because of all the things that the characters went through. But I cried. I think the only time I cried in that book was when Mamoru died, because it was heartbreaking. It was heartbreaking. The next question, I don't know why I left this question on. Happiest book. I don't read I know I just said I don't read sad books, but I don't read overly happy books. I read a lot of fantasy. You know what fantasies are like. It's not happy. They're fighting for their lives. These people are trying to stay alive and survive. So I wouldn't say it's happy. I can't think of any happy books that I read this year. None. Next question is the best series I read this year. This was between two series. And Arc of Versailles series 1, for obvious reason. I feel like if I didn't really enjoy the Thunderhead, I feel like the other series would have won. I'm not gonna say what series because I don't want people to come at me and be like, why didn't you put that series first? I'm choosing Arc of Versailles series, but only because Thunderhead 8. Like, it was the best out of the 3. And I love Rowan and Citra. Why did I forget her name? Rowan and Citra. I did a review in my wrap up, I don't know what month, where I talked about this book. So yeah, go watch it. Book with the prettiest cover. I have 2. I know it's like, I don't know if this was supposed to be just like one book answers, but I'm giving whatever answers I want to give. The first book in the prettiest cover category is Daughters of Inri by Renee K. Amayo. And the second one is my girl, Gabby Burton, which is Drama with Dreams, which is a sequel to Sing Me to Sleep. This cover, I remember when it dropped last year, I was going crazy. I couldn't wait. I was ready to like sell my soul to the publisher to be like, I need the arc right now. And yes, I got the arc. Of course I got the arc. Next question. I don't know what number question I'm on now, but next question. There's still loads. A book with new favourite quotes. I don't know, because this is another thing I need to start doing next year. Tabbing at my books, especially when I like a quote, tab it. Because I was watching this other girl's video and I don't know how she remembers, but she was asked the same question. She literally whips out the book and literally flips to the page, and I was like, and it's that tabbing, so I remember like where my favorite quotes are. Like, I don't want to overly tab, because when I see books that are overly tabbed, it gives me anxiety. Like, it stresses me out. Like, why do you need that much tabs? I mean, to each their own, I'm not judging, but it stresses me out. But that's what I'm gonna do next year. Start tabbing my favorite quotes. To answer that question, I don't know. I think there's one, I wouldn't say it's my favorite quote, but it's probably the only quote that's flying in my head right now. It's from The Sword of Kaigen by M.L. Wong, and I think it goes something like, listening has never made any man dumber, but it has made a lot of people smarter. I If you can hear that beep, it's a tumble dryer. But I don't know why that quote sort of stuck with me, but it's there. That's the only quote I remember. I don't even know if it's my favourite quote because I don't remember any other quotes. Next question, favourite new author. I wouldn't say favourite authors, but there have been many authors, new authors this year that I've discovered that I would like to read their other works or new works that they've got coming out. Definitely N.K. Jemisin, who wrote the Broken Earth trilogy. I finally read the trilogy this year, which I enjoyed, so I can't wait to read more of her work that she's put out. Tigger Skema, obviously from Immortal, the Immortal Dark author. I would like to read the next work because insane debut. We Are Haunted by Tomi Oyemakinde. I think that's how you say his name. He wrote We Are Haunted, and I know that he has another book out before that came out before We Are Haunted. So I want to read that because I really enjoyed We Are Haunted, apart from the ending. Andy Darcy Theo, you've probably come across him on TikTok, and he wrote the light that blinds us. The second book comes out next year, so I'm looking forward to that because I also enjoyed the light that blinds us. So yeah, I'm excited. Next question is books you finally read. Again, the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin and Ark of the Scythe series. Those are the books that have been on my TBR for many years, probably since they were published, and I just never got around to reading them. And yeah, I read them this year and I'm very proud of myself, and yeah, I'm glad I read them. And I feel like this next question kind of like is the same answers because it's books you are glad to get off your TBR. The Broken Earth trilogy and Ark of the Scythe series, because again, they're probably one of the longest books that I've had on my TBR. But I'm glad I read them. Next question, a book that should be made into a TV show or a movie. So TV show wise, Immortal Dark. Because I just feel like in the first book alone, there's too much that happened for it to be a movie. It needs to be a TV show. Like, it's vampire, it's dark academia. It's something I want to see as a TV show instead of a movie, because in a movie, I just don't feel like a movie would do it justice. A TV show. If any TV producers is watching this, you never know. Immortal Dark as a TV show, not a movie. We Are Haunted by Tomi Oyemakinde. I would love to see it as a movie because I want to see it's not long enough for it to be a TV series. It's just one book. So, and it's not a lot of pages, so you can get away with making it into a movie. I just want to see the creatures, the way the creatures and the island was described in the book. I want to see it. I want to see it live. I want to see it brought to life. Brought to life. I don't know. English is not my first language. I want to see it on my screen. I want to see the creatures, the way the creatures were like described. I want to see it. And I want to see the goriness on the screen. I want to see the animals eating the people on screen. Next question, unpopular book you loved or vice versa. I don't think I read any unpopular books. A popular book that I read that I didn't love and a lot of people loved, Foxglove by Adeline Grace. I talked about it, how it let me down. Yeah. I don't like it. And I don't know why a lot of people like it. It was so boring. All the characters were so boring. Lowest rated and highest rated book. My lowest rated is, actually no, I'll do my highest rated. My highest rated is sort of Kaigen. I love that book so much. I cannot wait to read the author's other books. And yeah, I gave it a 5-star because I don't know. If I could give it infinity stars, I'm gonna give it infinity, not 5-star, infinity stars, because it was just that good. And it was my highest rated book because I just love the book so much. Lowest rated book. I don't want to sound too harsh. There's a book that if I could give it 0 stars, I would. It was an arc. It was an author that found me on, I made a thingy. It was an author that found me on Instagram who messaged me saying like, am I interested in reading a book? When I read the synopsis, I was like, oh, it's interesting, send me the book, I'll read it, whatever. And I read the book, and it was so bad. It was so bad. It was so bad. There's one thing in that book I can never let go, because I just feel like before you write your book, you should do research. Research. Please. Research your stuff before you write your book, please. Please. The character was pregnant, and she was having twins, and then she goes into labor. She gives birth to the twins, and then the nurse comes to her and was like, well, this is twin 1. And he's fully term, but twin 2 has had to be taken to NICU because it's preterm. What do you mean? They were both in the same womb. They should both be fully cooked. You can't have one pre-cooked and one fully cooked. They are twins. Do your research, please. I really, really hope that the author did a lot of changes before they actually published the book, because it was self-published. So I really hope they had the chance to tweak the things, because I felt like I read the reviews and a lot of people were like, oh my god, it's so good, and it wasn't. Please don't lie to people, be honest. Last question, reading goal reflection. I set myself a goal of 30 books this year because I feel like last year I set myself a very high goal, and I started stressing and rushing myself to read really fast to catch up to my reading goal, because I feel like a lot of people know this. Once you get behind on your Goodreads or Storygraph, we use Storygraph in this house, goals, it's quite hard to catch up. And then it starts stressing you out. So this year my goal was to just put 30 books down, and if I read more than 30, then I'll be happy. If I don't read more than 30, I'll be sad, but I'll still be okay. I'm proud to say I read 36 books. That's what it's saying on my Storygraph, that I read 36 books. So I'm proud that I reached that goal. And then the ones that I didn't log in for reasons known to me, myself, and I, when I say log in, I didn't log them on Storygraph, because for reasons. I read 127 books. I checked 127 books on my Kindle Unlimited. On my Kindle Unlimited. So that's a lot. Let me actually calculate it. 127 plus 37, 164 books I read in the year of 2024. That's a lot of books. That is all for this video. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll try to get many more videos out for you guys. So thank you for continuing to support me, and yeah, see you next time.